Welcome back. Come on into my kitchen, Gigi's kitchen, where you get to learn all good things about cooking. And today we're going to be doing some beef tips with gravy and mashed potatoes, a real basic meal that makes a wonderful meal any time of the week. I'm going to show you what I've got here and how I prep it. So the other day I was in the Aldi's and they had a choice chuck roast on sale for $6.69 a pound, I think it was. And oh my gosh, I haven't seen chuck roast under $8 and I don't even know how long. So I was intrigued. I have bought this before and I bought the brisket version of it. And so this is our seasoned chuck roast. It's a steakhouse one. And the steakhouse one is just basic salt and pepper. So that's why I like it. I've never tried the bourbon ones or any of the other ones. It's USDA choice. It's Aldi. This one is, it says the weight is 2.5 pounds of chuck, which that's not a bad price. So I picked it up and said, okay, let's do this. So I'm gonna cut into it. Now with all of these pre-seasoned meats that I do get sometimes, they're on special, I do rinse them because I have tried to cook them with all the seasoning and to me they're just too salty. So I got my big scissors here. And I'm gonna take this out. I guess I could tell you what the ingredients are in it. It says dried garlic, onions, red bell pepper, sea salt, potato starch, a little sugar, natural flavors, including smoke and spices. So I'm gonna pull this out. And there we go. Now this looks like a chuck tender to me, not like a chuck roast. You can see the lines going through it. I'm going to grab my sprayer over here and I'm going to rinse it really good with cold water and rinse all of this off. Which I think this will be perfect for tips. They have to cook slow and we're going to stock with onions and little tomatoes and all. So there we go. So I've rinsed it really well. And we're going to do really, wait, I think I got one more spot here. I'm not really going to trim this since I'm going to cut it into cubes. And I'm going to cut this into extra large cubes. But before I cut it, I am going to grab me some paper towels so I can dry it a bit. So I'll be right back. Here we go. I'm going to just pat it dry. We are going to brown this off in the stainless steel. I'm going to cut it after I cut it into these chunks. I am going to put it on some parchment. We're going to sprinkle it good with some flour and salt and pepper, and then we're going to brown it off in the skillet. Well, it's actually the stew pot to help build fond for flavor, as we always talk about. Now, I'm gonna try and cut some of this trash off of here. I've got my big old knife out. Probably don't need this with a knife to trim, but there we go. And over this way, I'm gonna take this off right here. It has plenty of marbling in it, so I'm not gonna lose any flavor. But I think this is a good buy, so we'll see how it goes. I don't usually buy roast steaks, anything really, unless I can actually see it. I even have a hard time buying hamburger meat in the tube. Everybody says it's just fine. Now see how this has a slice in it? I'm gonna go ahead and slice that off of there. Go ahead and take it all the way through, and then I take it off. There we go. There's one. I'll go ahead and take this chunk off. I'm just going with the flow of the muscle. And then I've got, there's a little one, so that one's already ready to go. And so then I've got this piece, and that looks like a piece of silver skin right there, and you can tell because it's so tough. So we really do need to take that off. So I'm gonna take that off. There we go. I think we got, well, no, still got a little more in there. I'm gonna turn this around so I can, I'm cutting with my right hand, but the camera is to my left hand. Oh well, there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut these into some long strips. And like I said, I want them to be a little bigger than an inch cube because they're gonna shrink down. And I don't like little bitty chunks. I want a decent sized chunk. So, there we go. We're ready to dust these cubes up and start our pot. I'm heating it. I am going to add a good couple of tablespoons of this olive oil to the bottom. My pan is hot and it's gonna be getting hot, and I will explain why I like to dust on my parchment, because I can roll it all up and then throw it all away, and I'm just doing a light dusting. This is my salt, kosher salt, a good sprinkling, I'd say probably a half a teaspoon, and then my grinder, I'm gonna put in my pepper, and then I can just kind of roll this around to get it dusted up, and the flour is going to help. And then from there, it'll go into the pan. So when I say a light dusting, that's what I mean. So they're lightly coated. And keep rolling. I should have made me a bigger piece of something. There we go. So there we are, lightly coated with flour. Okay, we're not doing chicken fried steak here. This is just a light dusting. And there we are, and now I can take this whole thing to the stove and start dropping them into my oil so we can start browning them off. I don't want to put too many because I do want them to brown, and I don't want them to steam themselves. So we're just going to do a few in here. That looks good. And this will be my second batch. I might be able to get one more right there. And we're gonna let them sit there a minute. I'm gonna rinse my hands. Now this is the same process I use when I'm making stew, beef stew. I have a video on it, you'll see it. Only thing, the big difference here, we're not putting all the vegetables in it. We're gonna put onions and tomatoes in it. But the building the fond is the same. Also, we're going to add, this is going to be a very thick gravy-like sauce, not a brothy stew sauce, so that it's going to be a gravy-like sauce when we're done, so that it'll go on top of some mashed potatoes that we'll be having on the side. So see, it's lifting up, and if I turn it over, it'll start browning the other side. And I can leave them till they're good and crispy. And I think I might turn the heat on my fire up just a little bit. I got a little browning started, and we got a little bit of fond on the bottom starting. So we're just getting started, but it's coming right along. All right, I'm heating this pot up a little bit more. So some of the herbs that I would put in here for traditional, just everyday beef stew, beef tips and gravy would be a bay leaf. I will put in some Mrs. Dash, maybe just the table blend, the general seasoning. This is going to be a very basic, thick gravy sauce, brown gravy sauce. It will have the onions that break down, so it'll be like the brown onion gravy that we make. So I think you're gonna like it. My family loves it. Now I will say that about, I'm thinking the middle of February, after Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday, we'll start our dishes on St. Patrick's Day. So look out for that. I know it's a couple months away, but as time goes by so fast these days, that we will do the big pot of beef tips with Guinness and green mashed potatoes for St. Patty's Day. That's our family's traditional meal at St. Patty's Day. So look for that. So it'll be similar to this, but it's a different kind of sauce. It's very tomatoey, so I wanted to add beef bourguignon. It's a French dish that's beef cooked in Beaujolais. So we will be adding red wine to this, but it's not straight red wine. It'll be stock and red wine. But if you wanted to do just straight red wine, you could. So those are looking really good. And I'm gonna take them out. And put them back over here and put these in. Okay, so while those are doing their thing, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting my other supplies together. So I got my board here, I'm gonna pull it out. And I got my big chop here, and I got my onions. This is a medium white onion. We like a lot of onion, so I will put in the whole onion in there. If you don't like a whole onion, you can put a half. But I do go very light on the garlic. This is all about the onions and the tomatoes. I will add a garlic, but it'll be smashed. So there we go. And this is going to be just a light little dice across here, because I really want them to kind of melt down into the sauce. And I do have carrots, and they will go in, but they will go in at the end, right before we serve, just long enough for them to get tender. All right, that's ready. See how these are doing? Oh, we're coming on. I better turn this fire down. Oh, yeah. These are getting really crispy, and I'm getting lots of browning on the bottom of my pan. If you can see that, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. Now, I have not tried these new Teflon hex-clad stuff that claims that you can still get good browning. I'm kind of hesitant, so if somebody's tried it and it works for you, let me know. Because I'm stuck on my cast iron and stainless steel. If I want good browning like this, I will do it every time in my stainless steel or my cast iron. Here's my little garlic. I got one. It's not so little. I think this is a big one. It actually has a green in the middle of it. Dang. Well, when you get the green in there, that means your garlic is going off. You see the little green in there? I usually take it out because it tastes bitter. I don't know. Maybe it really doesn't. I just think it does. Okay, one garlic. See how we're doing over here? Oh yeah, that is looking really good. And this is a braising, almost a braising process. My stock pot is almost too tall for braising because you want to keep the steam low. But we're going to use it anyway because I don't know how many of you out there have a braiser. But if you do, you can use it. Anything that you can have a pretty good tight fitting lid to, that you can get your juices simmering and keep them simmering in there for several hours. Chuck usually cooks slow, long and slow to get it tender. And we are going to use beef stock to help it out and our wine. So here we go, back to the stove. There we are. Now I'm going to drop all of this back in. Here we go. now I'm going to put in my onions and my garlic and start frying them up as well. Yep. And this is where we would add our seasonings. So here's my table blend, my Miss Dash table blend. And it's just a general garden seasoning mix. And I normally would add a bay leaf, so I'll have to get one of those in just a minute. But we're gonna let that go for a minute or two. Let it saute those onions a little bit. Oh, that looks really good. That is coming along well. Bay leaf. And we like a lot of bay leaves, so I will find me a big one in here. And these are dried. You can do the other, you know, fresh if you want. I don't have any fresh. And if they've been in a cabinet for a while, you need to break it, smell it, and see if it's good, and it is. So maybe I'll just do that one and one more. We'll do this one, Goodness. There we go. 1.5 bay leaves. Okay. Now I think it's time to start deglazing our pan. I am going to dump the tomatoes in, and that'll start deglazing our pan, the juice from the tomatoes. 1 can of petite diced, and then I have 1 can of tomato sauce. Okay. And both of those are salty. So I'm not sure you want to add too much salt, so we'll get down the road, then we'll taste it. There we go. That looks so good. And see how the bottom is starting to become clean? All that flavor is coming into the sauce. And that is what we want. And 4 ounces of red wine. So that is going in. Like I said, you can use a lot more if you want. I'm going to stir that in. And then we'll add some stock. Just enough to cover the beef, so everything will be underneath the sauce to simmer. There we go. So that's about 2 cups of stock. Now that it'll all reduce, we're going to bring it up to a simmer, and we're going to let this go until the meat is tender and pulls apart. So I will check back with you. See you then. It's been almost 2 hours since our beef has been simmering, and I want to test it for tenderness to see how far we've come, how we're doing. So all I want to do is I have my 2 forks, I got a little bowl, and I'm going to take my lid off, and it just looks perfect. It's just simmering right along. And that gravy is reducing down, and look how small those cubes are getting to be. They're so tiny. So there's one. I probably need a little bit of sauce so it can cool and I can have a taste of it. Might have to get my spoon out because that's not working so good. There's a little bit of sauce. Okay, so the way we test this is we're just going to take our 2 forks right here and we're going to put them in there and pull it apart. And if it comes apart easily, it's ready. And this does not. See how I'm really having to work at it. Okay, and no matter how I turn it, it's still not going. I really have to pull at it. I think we got another good hour on this beef. but I'm just gonna let it simmer. Let it simmer down. Keep going, and we will get there eventually, but I'm gonna taste it. See how it tastes. That's so good. It doesn't need anything. It's salty enough as it is. Beefy. Oh, this is perfect. It's gonna be perfect. Put the lid back on it and let it go. We probably got another good hour on that beef. So there we are. And it's not time. I'll put this in about 30 minutes, just these little carrots in, and so that they can cook through. But then that's it. So we're good. Be back in an hour. We've been simmering our beef tips now, and they have been ongoing now for about 3.5 hours. The gravy has reduced. They're nice and tender. I think we're ready to serve dinner, and everybody's staring at me, including this one. Miss Scarlett, what are you doing in here? Huh? What are you doing in here? She says, Mom, is dinner ready? Is dinner ready? Here we are. Okay, so here we go. It looks so yummy. So anyway, here is our beef. It is simmered down, and as you can see, it's simmering away, and the gravy is nice and thick. Look at that gravy, so nice. And I just put the little carrots in there. I don't know why. It probably doesn't need carrots. So, but I didn't want it to be stewy, so I didn't want to add a whole bunch of stuff. Just mainly beef and onion sauce with a little bit of tomatoes. And then I've got the mashed potatoes here, so ready to go. So I'm going to fix me a small bowl so I can taste it. So this goes on, and I always like, there it goes. I like my mashed potatoes very stiff. This is not something creamy mashed potatoes, thin puree mashed potatoes, because it will dissolve down fast. So I'm just gonna get me a piece of beef. There we go. Put it on here with the gravy. Oh my gosh, now if that is not a Sunday meal that is warm and cozy, I don't know what is. Look at that. That looks so good. And let's see how tender this meat is. Look at that, soft. I cut it with my fork. Oh, doesn't that look so good? I gotta have a taste. As soon as it cools off, I'll probably burn my mouth. Mashed potatoes. And the mashed potatoes are soaking that gravy right up. Cut it again. That's one of my best. I can self-brag, you know. This is good. This is so good and so yummy. So next time you're at the grocery store and you see that little roast on sale, this is what you do with it. Now you can do it in the Instapot if you have one. It'll probably be less time. But on the stove, slow cook, everything melts down, comes together. Can't beat it. Anyway, hope you enjoy. I know I'm going to. See you next week. Bye.